Hi guys, this is Carrie and you're watching A Crone's Life. Today is my 101st video that I'm recording and I thought I would do something kind of special. With my decks, when I get a new one in, I often will do a deck interview, and it's just a way of starting a conversation with a new friend and getting to know weaknesses and strengths of the deck. So I thought maybe today I would give myself a deck interview and let you guys see kind of a tidbit of what I might be like. So I chose an interview from insight.ifate.com, and this was made like 3 years ago, but I liked the questions a lot. I usually do a 5 to 7 card spread for my deck interviews. This one happens to be 10, and I just kind of like the questions for myself personally. Some of the other questions that I use for decks, it's kind of vague, as it should be, because you know your deck is going to give you better answers the broader the questions are. So I wanted to do that, and I also kind of wanted to cover some things that I've been working on, so my journals and some paintings and some crochet projects. So I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I kind of wanted to do a really nice, chunker, a good hefty video, so that so you have a lot to think about, or maybe more to listen to. I often don't talk a whole lot on my videos, and I'm not a quiet person per se. IRL, I'm chitty chatty with the people that I know, but when I'm not sure, the people that I'm around, I do tend to be very quiet. So I still feel like I'm new to tarot or new to YouTube, even though I've been here for over a year. I don't know. I have insecurities, man. I'm not sure what I should be saying, so I don't always throw my comments right out there for you. Anyway, so the first part of this is going to be the deck interview, and I may chop it up. I'm not really sure how I'm going to put this together, but I may not be wearing the same clothes because I'm going to do it over multiple days, and I didn't have to tell you that. I'll probably cut that out. First question. If you had to describe yourself with one card, what would it be? And I think the only thing that I feel proficient at in my life, like if I were going to be an expert at something, it would be motherhood. That was the first thing I told my mom I wanted to be when I was growing up. I wanted to be a mom, and I did have 2 children. So I have 2 children. I have my granddaughter, so 1 grandchild, 2 children, and I've also worked in childcare. I did that for 30 something years. I hate to say 35, even though my brain rounds up to 35 all the time. It's probably closer to 32, 33 years. I was in childcare, and for a long time I had my own private daycare. And so, yeah, I feel proficient. I feel if I'm going to be an expert at anything, it's child development. I have a minor in psychology, so I covered child development in that too. So it's something that I feel very confident about. It's not something you can show off to the general public, like, hey, I'm really good with babies. Watch me. Just grab a baby. I can't do that. But I have my degree in art also. So I have my degree in art and my minor in psychology. So I feel pretty good about doing art, but I know some high schoolers that are way better than me. So there's that. Anyway, so I think the Empress would have to be the card, and I took way too long to answer. Number 2, are you more in tune with grand life issues or day-to-day issues? I am personally more into day-to-day issues. I feel overwhelmed by grand life issues, like what is my purpose in life and how can I help people across the planet. I mean, grand anything seems too much for me. Like I said, I have no expertise in like anything, so the grand scheme of things, probably as big as it gets, is within my community. Like I've raised so many people's children, and so my community is pretty intimate. Like, I know these people on a very like intimate level. But it's very small. Its community is as big as it gets, and I'm really, these days, because my granddaughter is staying at home, I'm really more this family, like Keenan and Lucy, Shelby and Micah, Steve and myself, Elena and my mom, and my mother-in-law, but even she's like in Vermont most of the time. Well, I'm just gonna kind of try to wing it and tell you kind of what's been going on. I wanted to cover some of my creativity ideas, my creative ideas, and I don't know how it's gonna go. I bought some paint pens and I wanted to paint on dried leaves. These are redbud leaves from around my house, and they are gorgeous. They're just a beautiful size, a beautiful shape, but the problem is that they're very fragile, and I worry that painting on them, they'll just crack, so I haven't attempted it just yet. I'm a nervous ninny, so I like to take things pretty slow. And another thing that I could do, but I don't have a whole lot of gouache paints, is I could just use a paintbrush, and that would definitely be delicate enough for these leaves. So I've got one of these to start with, and that's something I wanted to do. Talked about my journals on a separate part of this video, and I have not done anything in this particular journal, this particular sketchbook, past what I've already showed you in recent, or not recent, but other videos. So, and Krista, at Krista's Chronicles, no, not Krista, I'm sorry, my apologies. Jenny at A Year and a Day was talking about the way she likes to journal because she wants to be able to move sheets of paper in and out of her system. And this is my system. It is Chicago screws and a hole punch. I have a 2-hole punch, and it does really well for this shape sketchbook. And this is watercolor paper. I don't have it in front of me, but it's Canson extra large, and I cut it down to the size that I want it to be before I use it. And even though these are watercolor style, this is actually gouache. I'm trying to learn to use gouache, so I have another sketch that I have not filled in yet. So, and empty space from here through, but I believe that this works best for me. With all of my other projects, my other little books, this has worked out really well. And the nice thing is if I choose to cut images out and change, I can just take them out of the book and replace them with another sheet of paper if I choose to. So this is a crazy little fun thing I'm working on. I've got boxes from my purchases, and I'm making paper mache and lining the insides of the boxes. I apologize about the noise in the background. My granddaughter's showing me her boxes too. She's being very creative also. But what I'm working on right now is figuring out what to put in the background to make a nice backdrop. And then I'm gonna do little dioramas or maybe little altars or something. But this is something that I have to take a little bit at a time because I don't want it to get too big or too out of control where it gets cluttered and ugly. So I've got these decorations that I've cut out of a thing, and I wasn't sure where to put them on here, but this is kind of the idea I'm going for. First things I have to do is just clean up the edges, but I did want to get a jump on the decoration. So this one may not use these. To be honest with you, I was considering just painting this all white. I do need to cover the backdrop of this. I wanted to do this all white though, and have splashes of natural colors in here, because I dried a lot of the plants that I find in my yard. So this is honeysuckle I dried in my oven, and this is spring something that grows in my yard. I have quite a bit of that. This is garlic blossom, and this is a mimosa leaves. Sorry about the Q-tips. These are mimosa leaves, and I just let them dry on their own instead of putting them in the oven, and I kind of like the way they shriveled up. It's really cool. So I've got a lot of botanicals in here, and I thought maybe I would do my first little altar to be very natural and botanical, but to set off so that everything would be kind of popping, I wanted the background to be white. Well, hi, honey. You coming up? Okay. So she's officially here with us. Okay, so I'll move the honeysuckle away. And again, that's just my idea. I've got this one was supposed to go on the edges, but we'll see. My tiny little scissors that I actually use for crochet. But and this little book was something I found in a bunch of junk. A child's 10 commandments to their parents. I don't know if anybody remembers that. That was a really big thing when my son was young. So my mom probably got that for him. So this year for our anniversary, we're going to be going to New Mexico. We wanted to see some more national parks. So I'm going to take this moleskin that has the, what do you call those, little screenplay, or anyway, it's got little boxes to animate, sort of. So I'm going to see what I can do with this. I've had this book forever, and I've been intimidated by all the boxes. So I think I'm going to try and do my New Mexico state parks in this. Because the petroglyphs, if I could draw the petroglyphs that I see, they would fit nicely in those boxes, and that would be appropriate. So, and then this is my other to-do journal, and I've got my hashtags for tarot tube in here. So I've got a list of things that I want to try and do for the videos. This is my to-do list, and here's another journal, and it only has this one picture. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I was working with a YouTube painter, and he was kind of giving us the tutorial on how to do watercolor. So again, this is gouache, but I'm just working on doing some things, but the bigger size is a lot of fun. Again, I'm a little intimidated by, you know, taking on a large project or a large image. These are not supposed to be here. That's for me. Oh, my tiny little book. So this is my size, just a little bit bigger than this probably, is my favorite size of drawing stuff. So I have my, doing this one-handed again, I have my little swamp lilies, and I don't even know if you can see that. My eyes don't work, and it's so dark. Sorry, but that's my little swamp lilies. My husband likes that one a lot. I think it's funny. And I did guava really messily, and a fae, crazy little picture that I don't think it turned out, but you know. And then I was just practicing eyes, so I haven't filled them in yet. I just wanted to do different shapes. Thank you, Elena. Please stop. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Thank you. Did a little bird. I couldn't tell from the picture that I was drawing from whether it was supposed to be a hummingbird or a kingfisher, so I just kind of modified the beak so it didn't look so weird. I don't know, maybe it still looks weird. I think it should be a kingfisher though. And the beak should be longer if it's a kingfisher. Anyway. Then I've got the moon with nice fluffy eyebrows. I don't think she's grumpy. I think she just has a really mischievous look on her face. And then a couple of empty pages and a really poorly done dragon. It's like a sea dragon. It's a lot of fun. And then a scribble scratch dragon. I think I've shown this one before. And a dumb flower. But you know, I've got some unfinished things in here. So, but this is a good size for me because I can just sit down and do a little sketch and it doesn't feel like a big project. So question number 3 is, how do you see me? What characteristic stands out on our first meeting? So usually this question would be for my deck to answer about me, obviously, but I'm going to answer this for like the whole system of tarot and card divination. When I first started using tarot, I was trying to get my creative juices flowing. I was trying to get back into painting and drawing. This was before COVID, so it just kind of worked out to where when it started, you know, really working for me, I had lots of time to paint and draw, and it was working for me. I started journaling again in a way that I felt very confident about my abilities. I had my art journal that was flourishing. It was turning out exactly the way I wanted it to. And then things started happening in our lives. Steve got a promotion. That was great. And our vacations were wonderful because we took like 2 or 3 that same year that things were happening. Yeah, it was coincidence that we were able to go and do some things while he was moving up in the ranks at work. But at the same time, we didn't realize it then, but we started cascading with our family issues, like parents not being well and my brothers, you know, their health was on the downside. And like I said, I didn't know that at the time. We were trying to keep in touch with everybody and to our best abilities. But because we didn't know it, my cards were telling me this. Like, I didn't buy into it at the time. I was using it for creative purposes and journaling. And that was the most important thing to me, was that I was able to really figure out my emotions. I've gone through many different kinds of medicine to try and calm my anxiety and help some of my mood issues. And tarot was helping with my journaling, and journaling was helping with my emotions. So that was great. But like I said, my cards were screaming at me about family issues, and I thought nothing of it. Looking back and reading my journals, I was shocked. Like, I was shocked. Steve's dad had Parkinson's, and his mom was taking care of him very capably. I mean, they were both doing super well as far as we could see from the outside. She is a stoic, strong woman, and she took care of him. And he is a determined, and he loves her. He loved her with all his heart, and he did everything he could to keep his body working. He did physical therapy. He did everything he could to keep himself in shape to continue to take care of her even through his decline. And my cards were telling me. They just kept nagging at me and telling me. And we got a letter from Steve's mom saying this might be the last time we come to visit because Sam isn't well. And we were like shocked. So they came to stay, and they stayed for about 3 months, and I still didn't have my medicine right. I was actually drinking a lot to deal with issues. Don't do what I do. And at the same time, my mother was on the decline with her Alzheimer's. And she was taking a lot of homeopathic medicines, like, I don't know, supplements and things that were not really FDA tested, but people swore would help with her memory. And she was actually doing really well too. From the outside, it was my dad and my brother that really knew what was going on with her. So these two situations, you know, we had the bubbles pop. our fantasy world just kind of went away. And my cards told me, like, all through this. It was not predictive, I wouldn't say, but it was definitely giving me information that I was ignoring. So when I realized that my cards were actually spot on and could be trusted to give me information that I didn't actually really know, it was eye-opening. So how I see tarot now compared to how I did when I first started is completely different. I still use it for creative purposes. I still use it for journaling. But now I'm much more curious about everything that goes into tarot or divination. I think that symbolism is very strong. It's a strong, powerful force that we don't really know how to master, maybe. A lot of people are very good, obviously, at reading signs and symbols that surround us. I'm at the point, and how I'm seeing tarot and divination right now is, it's fascinating, and I want to learn everything that there is to learn. I'm getting a numerology deck. I've got Lenormand. I've got the Thoth Tarot. I don't have a Kipper deck, and I'm not sure that I want one because I think Lenormand's going to cover all that for me. Anyway, I'm fascinated with astrology. I'm open-minded now. I've tried to open my eyes and be open-minded to what possibilities there are with tarot. So yeah, I'm developing a relationship with every deck that I have. I'm trusting that each deck has a different voice and has a different view of what information they can give me or what they want to tell me. And yeah, I'm just really open-minded. I'm taking it in and trying to sift through what I feel is right and what I can believe. And I'm, kind of putting aside the things that don't work for me. I think we all do that. So that's how I see tarot. So that's number 3. What is your general outlook on life and the universe? I don't usually ask that question to my decks. That's one that I thought was very useful for me to answer. I'm the deck. I'm the interview. But I don't usually ask that of my decks. I don't think that's a very helpful, maybe, question for me to get to know a deck. I think that's a little soon if it's an interview. Yeah, what's the meaning of life? Not there yet. So for myself, let's see, what's your general outlook on life and the universe? general outlook on life, that's one question. I think life is, and I'm not trying to be grim or anything, I don't feel like, I may have to skip this for now. Well, I may have to edit this video, because, like, is it my attitude toward life? Like, do I think that life is, do we need a purpose-driven life? Do we need to have a grand scheme to play into? I don't know about that. I think the way that I would answer this, I think the way I'm going to answer this is that I think that our power is in our mind. We can accomplish anything that we set our mind to if we have the right tools and if we have the right system that gives us the power to believe it strong enough. I don't think you can do something even if you don't believe it's going to happen. I think that's why spells work sometimes and don't work sometimes. For witches, for practitioners, I think that if you truly believe in something, and it helps if you're raised that way, because that's from your time of your birth to this moment in your life, because you don't need any evidence. You just believe it. It's ingrained in your life. I'm not there. I'm not that person. So I'm skeptical about a lot of things. I've tried to do money spells, and I have a money jar, and I do pour my energy into it, but belief is a little different, and I think that that's what's holding me back with any of the practice that I'm trying to work through, and I do continue to try and learn, what makes things tick. Obviously, I've just said that so many times, but life, I believe in reincarnation. I think that everything is in here. I think that as far as like heaven and hell, I think that earth is heaven and hell, because if we treat earth like we have been, we're going to turn it into hell. Or we could figure out a way to use technology and nature to work together and make it more heavenly. And I consider nature heaven. I don't think that cities and buses and trains and factories are heaven. I think that those kind of things should be camouflaged into our natural world. I mean, if we could put everything underground and have the entire surface of the earth just nature, that would be ideal in my mind. I don't think we can do without factories and plastic and all the things that I hate. We can't do without it. We're consumers, and we're terrible for the environment, but if we could like put it somewhere that doesn't mess it all up, that'd be great. That'd be like the perfect idea. But I do believe that the course that we take through our lives is what makes heaven or hell. And if we live long enough, well, if our soul continues to come back long enough, then we will experience whether earth is a heaven or a hell, and that's where we end up forever. Just if it works out. I mean, if it doesn't, maybe I don't know what I'm saying, but I just feel like reincarnation, I come back as a squirrel, but I have nowhere to live. It's kind of hellish, and come back again. Am I a bird and I don't have a tree to land in? I'm a pigeon, I have to live in the city. I mean, I come back again and it's a worm where there's like toxic dirt and they come up on the sidewalks and die like all those poor worms do. I mean, that's kind of how I'm thinking, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. And yeah, I believe that there's a finite number of souls and they're all just coming back in different forms. And I believe everything has a soul. I think trees have souls, cats and dogs have souls, worms have souls, bacteria. It's all energy, and our souls are our essence, our energy. The universe, I'm not there yet. I tried studying some astrophysics for a while. Astrophysics. You know, Neil deGrasse Tyson tries really hard to get us all involved in those studies, and I think they're great and everything, but truly, I've got enough on my plate with all the metaphysical stuff. I think that astrophysics is going to have to stand in line. I got to figure me out first before I can figure out the universe. So, I don't know about the universe. I've probably given too much away about my belief in all that stuff, but... So number 5 is, what are your strengths? So I mentioned in number 1 that my strengths are really taking care of people. I'm a nurturer, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother. I've done nothing but take care of people, I think, my whole life, really. I have to pause. I think also, because I'm a Gemini, and just a naturally curious person, my strengths are being open-minded and having a desire to learn, and constant, like a craving for more. And I'm not going to be satisfied when I'm older to just sit and do nothing. I will always want to be doing something, learning something, continuing, getting better at things. I think that's a truth. I feel it, that I'm not stationary. So another strength, any strengths, arts and crafts. I can't stand it. I'm a maker. That's what they call our little people, is makers. I make things, and it doesn't matter. I could be sitting here watching TV or doing something else, and my hands want to be working. So I'm either doing crochet, or I could be like folding origami. It's so silly. It's weird how my hands just have a life of their own. They want to be making something. Not just doing something, but making something. Because shuffling cards, I noticed that a lot of people here on TarotTube, that's very comforting for them to just sit and shuffle cards. I'm not comforted by shuffling cards. I like reading the cards. So shuffle, shuffle, and then I want to read them. I want them to talk to me. But my hands want to make things. So I used to keep whittling tools right here at my desk, and I would whittle on pieces of wood. And my I'm in Mississippi, so I have a lot of friends that hunt, and I have some deer antlers that I want to whittle on. And I was, for a while there, looking for some tools that would really help me make little idols and things out of the deer antlers. I've decided on a Dremel, but that's a different topic. Sorry. But yeah, I think strengths are nurturing, open-mindedness, and arts and crafts. So that probably boils it down. I love to read, but I'm very bad at it right now. My concentration is so far off. Back to the other topic, my what do you call it? My endeavor to get my emotions, my anxiety under control was kind of a failure. Every drug I took did not help. Like, It did to a certain extent, but not in the long run. And so I am off all my meds for my anxiety. I'm just dealing with it. Which is one reason why some of my videos are a little different than others. I have insecurities. This may be the next question, actually. What are your strengths? Do you have an overall message for me that will be important in the future readings? Yeah, it's pretty important that you guys understand I've got really, really messed up anxiety. So I have insecurities about how I look, how I sound, whether or not I know what I'm talking about. I really hate to talk about anything if I don't know enough about it. I've got background knowledge on so many topics because my interests are wide, but I'm not an expert, so therefore I don't feel like I have. I'm not the person to talk about it. So I'm not that kind of teacher. If I knew that my students were, I don't know, second grade, I could talk on anything. I'd tell you all about Greek mythology for a second grader. But we're all adults, and I know that there are so many more people out there that know way more than I do. And I hate that feeling like I'm going to say something wrong. I'm going to say something stupid. I'm going to mispronounce something. I don't know. I'm really, really insecure. It's the worst. It's the worst. And the anxiety on top of the insecurity is the worst. It's also very important that you guys know that I have chronic back pain. It wasn't chronic back pain until it was. I had back pain, intermittent back pain, for a while, and I think that started in 2021. Excuse me, sorry about that. 2021, and I went to the doctor thinking it was kidney infections or UTIs or something, because, you know, it's lower back pain, and they were like, nah, you're good. So I'm deciding that it's muscular, and my physical therapy helped so much, and now I just have to try to continue to do the exercises at home. Sorry, this is a long-winded answer to a simple question. What do you need to know? You need to know that I have chronic back pain. Is there anything you want from me in this relationship? And again, this is Tarot asking me. I want Tarot to bring magic into my life. I want Tarot to help me bring magic to other people as well. I think it's important that everyone feel light and happy. And I think if you can believe in magic, then you can find happiness in just about anything, because you know that it's gonna be cool, it's gonna be great. And I'm not saying if you have a child die or something horrible like that. That's not the kind of magic I'm talking about. I don't want to go there. I heard you. I mean, you know, people get depressed about their job and it's not fulfilling. That's a really minor issue. The fact that you have a job is really exciting and wonderful, and you get to get out of the house and see people and do things, and maybe it's not fulfilling to your soul, but it's important. It's important that we go to work. It's important that we do things to contribute to our community and our society and each other. And if you're not there for the job itself, be there for the people you work with. And I don't know, that believing in magic does a lot to help you with your relationships with people around you, I think, because there's good in everybody. And I don't know. That's how I think. I think like that. I think if there's magic, then things are good. Things can be good. What types of questions are you most proficient at? Again, I'm not an expert on anything. Yeah, so I've always been into mythology. That was really my comfort zone, was learning about all different types of mythology. So I like the Sumerian and Mesopotamian mythologies. I like, of course, Egyptian, because that's kind of in the same area. I like all of the synchronicities across the old religions. I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent. I don't know what I'm proficient at talking about. I think anything I've read recently I could probably have a conversation about. I can't lecture. I'm not that kind of teacher. Let's see. Is there anything else I'm really good at? Crochet. I can teach people how to crochet. I'm good enough at crochet that I could probably teach you anything you need to know. What types of questions do you have difficulty with? Everything. I'm wishy-washy. I go this way, I go that way. I could tell you everything about what I just said, mythology or raising kids or crochet. I could tell you everything I think I know about it, but then I'm going to turn around and say, but I could be lying. I could be completely wrong. Because I have insecurities. I've already said that too. I lack confidence in my knowledge and my abilities. Totally, 100%. I lack confidence. And the very last question, because what will the outcome of our relationship be, or what is one possible outcome for me and tarot? That's a really good question. I didn't read that ahead of time. Let's see. An outcome. I would like to read for other people. I would really enjoy, I would really enjoy sitting down and just reading cards for other people. I would enjoy just being able to sit down and read cards for other people. Open-minded people, not skeptics. I don't want some jerk coming up and saying, haha, prove it to me. I don't care about that. That's not why I want to do it. I want to do it to see if it feels different when you do it for someone else. If it talks different, if there's a different vocabulary from the tarot to me when I am asking about another querent. I would like to have that experience under my belt or in my future. We have someone here, Mrs. Lamar passed away, I believe. I've not seen her for ages. She used to do tarot and palm reading in our area. And when I was in college, we would, some of my friends and I would go out and see Mrs. Lamar. Actually, as skeptics. And it wasn't long after that I started reading tarot in college. I think I was believing way more than I thought I was at the time. But anyway, yeah, it went along with astrology. So my mom was into astrology and I was into tarot. I don't know what I was saying. Yeah, my future. So I think she's passed away, and there might be somebody across the state line. I think her name is Miss Faith, or maybe that's just the name of her business. She has a sign. I don't know. And there's really not anybody close to us who does tarot readings. We have a shop here in town. It's mostly a clothing shop, but she sells crystals, Serendipity Hippie, and she sells macrame. I've tried to talk her into taking some of my crochet, but I am awkward. I am an awkward human being, and I think I put her off, which isn't surprising. Paisley. She's so sweet. She's adorable. She's the cutest thing. But I think I made her nervous. I think I did. Yeah. I know how to mess things up. So I won't be reading cards in her shop, but oh well. And also, I can't do it here in this town anyway because, yeah, everybody has like a idea of who I am, and they probably already think I'm a little bananas, but it would just be like a joke. It would be the biggest joke to them that Steve's wife is reading tarot. She's lost her marbles and she's out there doing crazy metaphysical stuff, crazy woo-woo stuff. Okay, so that was all my questions. So I'm just going to cover them one more time, and not like in depth, but the first one was, if you had to describe yourself with one card, what would it be? I said the Empress. Are you more in tune with grand life issues or day-to-day issues? I said day-to-day issues. How do you see me? What characteristic stands out on our first meeting? I said tarot has changed from the time that I first met tarot to the time that I'm at right now. I used to just use it for straight-laced, non-woo-woo, secular things, and now I'm totally into the woo-woo, and I'm head over heels with the idea of magic existing, if nowhere else but in our minds, and we can make things happen just by believing. What is your general outlook on life and the universe? I think we're all reincarnated, and our path to heaven is taking care of the planet, because the planet is going to be where we are forever until the planet doesn't exist anymore. And what are your strengths? I'm a maker, I'm a mom, and what did I say? Oh, my curiosity. I'm open-minded. Do you have an overall message for me that will be important in the future? I'm insecure, I have anxiety, and I have chronic back pain. And those are very important issues that everybody should remember about me, because I'm awkward and I'm terrible, and I don't know why anybody would like me. Is there anything you want from me in this relationship? Yeah. Let's make magic happen. Help me make magic happen. Help me prove that magic exists so I can show other people in their lives. What types of question are you most proficient at? And I don't know. I'm not confident with anything, really. Crochet, that might be the only thing. What types of questions do you have difficulty with? Everything. I don't believe I'm good enough to answer anything that means anything to anybody. What will the outcome of our relationship be, or what is one possible outcome? I would love to read for other people. I would love to be able to not only bring tarot full circle from skeptic to woo-woo in my life, but also do it for other people. So anyway, that's all I can think of. But we'll see. I'm going to throw a bunch of stuff in this video. It's going to be great. I'm going to have a great time. And yeah, we'll see what happens next.
Oh.